happy Monday. Thank you for joining me for this week's Weekly Wisdom. Now, I happened to be flipping through TikTok last night and came across a content creator that I really like called Jennifer Hamilton. If you have not looked her up, definitely check it out. There are chickens, there's humor, it's fun. You never know what you're going to get. She was talking about the fact that she was having a conversation with a friend of hers who is also in the keynote speaker space. And Jen asked her friend, "What do you do when you walk in and the audience is just like, bleh?" And I immediately cued into this because as a speaker, I know exactly what she's talking about. And if you have gone into any meeting, then you probably know what she's talking about as well. When you walk in the room and you look and everybody's like, "I don't want to be here." And maybe they're on their phones instead of talking to each other, and the energy is just really, really low. That is not a happy place to be when you're getting ready to go on stage, right? Because I'm like, I'm the pixie dust, I'm the magic, we're going to have an amazing time. Whee! And the audience is like, "Buh." And so I really cued it because I wanted to hear what her friend said. And her friend said, "You know what? I don't worry about it because I bring the weather. Everywhere I go, I bring the weather." And I got to thinking about that while I stayed up till 1 a.m. with my neighborhood popping fireworks. It's for another story. Started thinking about that. What does that mean? I bring the weather. And it means as leaders, we have an impact on the mood of our team. When I was a manager working at Disney, I was on a team of generally 3 to 4 other managers. And I had my leader come in one day and said that she could always tell which of her managers were working that day based on the mood of the cast members on the floor. You see, we each brought our own weather. And so that's something that I want to challenge you to do as you're moving forward and thinking through, like, how can I be intentional about my leadership? How can I be intentional about improving the experience of not only myself, but those that choose to follow me, is to remember that you bring the weather. There is a time and place for rain. There is a time and place for just boiling sunshine. There's a time and a place for sunny with a little bit of clouds. You bring that weather. So as you're thinking through and understanding what this means, how are you going to bring the weather that's appropriate for your teams? If you're wanting to bring the sunshine, start with a smile. Go in, ask people, how are their weekends? How are their kids? What's going on? We respond as humans, we respond to those around us. So when you bring the weather, if you are bringing that sunshine, you're going to raise the weather of everybody else around you. Be intentional about this superpower. Be intentional about being the weather that your team needs that day. Most days it'll be sunshine, not every day. What weather does your team need from you? And how can you be intentional about bringing it? All right. Thank you for joining me for this week's Weekly Wisdom. I hope you have an absolutely spectacular week. And as always, don't forget, you got this. I'll see you next week.